So in a recent interview with Vanity Fair, Infinity War and Endgame directors Joe and Anthony Russo revealed that Jon Favreau warned them against killing Iron Man. Favreau, of course, is one of the few people responsible for kickstarting the MCU by directing Iron Man 1 and 2. The director brothers added that Favreau believed that killing off Iron Man would devastate audiences. Ultimately, Favreau's concerns were noted but ignored, with Iron Man eventually meeting his demise in Endgame. However, it got me thinking and revisiting Endgame, which saw not just Iron Man's arc coming to an end, but also Captain America's. Now, with Black Panther Wakanda Forever being the last film for Phase 4, there has been a general sense that the quality has dipped a little since Endgame. From an audience's point of view, a lot of people were interested and invested in the MCU due to Iron Man and Captain America, who had both been carrying the franchise ever since their respective debuts well over 10 years ago now. But with Captain America now cosplaying as Joe Biden and Iron Man being dead, I can't help but think that Marvel may have got it wrong with killing Iron Man, and perhaps that Jon Favreau's concerns should have been heeded. Before I dive into all this, over 85% of viewers aren't subscribed to the channel. Please take this very moment to quickly subscribe. It really does mean a lot. Thanks. Anyways, the death of Iron Man has certainly been a hot topic for fans of the MCU. This was a character which was pretty unknown to the casual viewer, with Spider-Man and the Hulk being Marvel's biggest known properties globally in the early 2000s. Since 2008, however, the character has become a household name. No thanks to Robert Downey Jr. From being an actor who was considered a massive risk to eventually pocketing around $75 million for his role in Avengers Endgame, it's safe to say both Downey and Marvel mutually benefited from this relationship. However, for a lot of moviegoers who had a connection to the MCU, well, that connection was forged by Iron Man. I was admittedly very surprised that Iron Man was one of the Avengers to kick the bucket in Endgame along with Black Widow. Don't get me wrong, the build-up and the way it was executed were perfect, especially with the reuse of the line he first uttered back in Iron Man 2008. But in the last 3 years since Endgame, damn, it's already been 3 years, I do feel like the MCU has a very notable gap with its cast of characters who are still alive and well. Of course there's Spider-Man, who's always going to be a guaranteed box office draw, but with Spider-Man and the current situation he's in, it feels like Marvel and Sony are more focused on expanding his world rather than being a main vocal point for the MCU. Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange is arguably carrying the mantle as the MCU's main figure post-Endgame. Yet with his story arc and the most recent film knees deep in the multiverse, I can't help but feel that the complexities of the multiverse will turn casual moviegoers away. Iron Man and to a large degree Robert Downey Jr. were the perfect combination in bringing comic book and casual fans together. Let's say Marvel opted against killing off Iron Man in Endgame. What would you do with his character? In an interview back in 2020, the actor stated that, "I've done all I could with that character and can do other things now." However, I don't think Tony Stark necessarily had reached the end of the road. Personally, I think it would have been great to see the character moved into a Nick Fury kind of role, becoming the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. or looking to build the next set of Avengers. Samuel L. Jackson reportedly received around $4 to $6 million plus bonuses for every appearance he's made within the MCU. A nice little earner for anybody considering the limited screen time. After the events of Civil War and where Tony's head was at post-snap, it felt like a natural progression for him to step out of the limelight and help foster the next generation of superheroes. I don't know, maybe I've been sentimental about all of this, but I do think the Tony Stark character still had plenty to offer post-Endgame, perhaps eventually mentoring the next Iron Man. Do you think it was a mistake to kill off Iron Man? Drop your thoughts down in the comments and let's see what you all think. Thanks for watching, peace.